Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Boston. And let's begin with a beautiful song by a beautiful woman, Karen Drucker, and let's let this lift us up. I give my
permission. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission, I will, to be all I can be. I give myself permission, I will, to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. Give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free.
So welcome again to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Boston. We are a community of joy and light and love and perfection and wholeness. And good morning, Karen. Good to see you with us this morning. And I just wanted to let everyone know that if you want to know more about our community or where to find us, you can find us on the web at cslboston.org. You'll find our phone number, our email contact, and we are always happy to hear from you and what you may be interested in. And as we talk about that, what I want to talk about today is our different purpose statements. We have 4 purpose statements here at Center for Spiritual Living, and it's about who we are in the world. And so I'd like to share. This is our 3rd one, I believe. I share one each week, and looking forward to this. So let's read this together. We co-create a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. And then, of course, we deepen it and make it our own with our I statement. I co-create a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. And that is what we are called to fulfill in the world. So let's begin with prayer. Let's set the tone for this day, knowing that it is perfect right here and right now. Taking a deep breath. And letting go. This is what I know, that there is one infinite universal power, one perfect, whole, and complete presence, one light, one love, one joy, one peace, one perfection, and one wholeness that is in and as and through everything. I call this presence for myself, I call it the Mother, Father, God, but it answers to so many names. And I know it is the truth that is behind all things, all love, all peace, all joy, all clarity, all guidance, all abundance, all perfection and wholeness. It is all of these things and more, and it is expressing itself in and as and through all of its creation. Therefore, I know that I receive all of these attributes of this one divine one as myself, in oneness with this presence and this power. And as I know that for myself, I know that for each and every one throughout the cosmos, each and every one in this beautiful room here today who is physically with us, each and every one who is watching us online through the ethers and the internet, and anyone who watches this further and later in the day or later in time. I know it is perfect and whole and complete and one right here and right now. And it is from this oneness that I call forth this activity, this Sunday celebration service for CSL Greater Boston that I know is amazing and perfect and unfolds in ease and grace and joy with all of the technology moving in perfect symmetry and joy and peace and grace. It is good and very good. And I am grateful in knowing that it is fulfilled in this moment, for it is the Mother, Father, God's good pleasure to give the kingdom right here and right now, and we receive it in ease. So in gratitude and thanksgiving, I let it settle into the law, where the law takes it and makes it so in its perfect alchemy of joy. I let it be. I know it is so. I say, blessed be. Amen. Ashe. And together we join in form and say, and so it is.
Good morning. I am here. And okay. So our first statement. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. So I'm going to ask you to say that with me now. I believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that I am surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of my thought and acts upon it. And the next song that we're going to sing, it definitely has to do with the theme of what we are talking about today. And it is one of those things that it'll get you moving. So be in this place of being in the celebration of being right here, right now. Know that I am so grateful to be with each one of you, present in the presence, both in person, which feels wonderful, as well as in this oneness, in the gift that is technology. So in that knowing, we're going to play this song by Eddie Watkins Jr. So, saying yes.
Well, I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes. Woo! Yes to life. Of love within me is expressing itself right now. The spirit of joy within me is expressing itself right now. What are we gonna create today? The universe is ready to play. Yes, spirit surely will lead the way. Yes, if you just say yes. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. Yes, yes, yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes. Woo! Yes to life. I'm saying yes to life, yes right to here, life. Right now. Yes, life. The spirit of life within me is expressing itself right now. The spirit of light within me is expressing itself right now. Whatsoever you conceive, if you believe it, you can achieve it. The universe will always agree if you just say yes. I'm saying yes, saying, saying, saying yes. I'm saying yes, saying, saying, yes, yes, yes. I'm saying yes, I'm saying yes, yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 woo-hoo. Yes to life. Oh, I'm saying yes to life. Oh, let me hear you say it, say it, say it, yes to life. Let me hear you say yes, yes, I'm saying yes to life. Yes, 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 say it, say it, say it, say it to life. Let me hear you say it, say it, yes to life, yes to life. I'm saying yes to life.
Good morning. My name is Darlene, and I'm here to do the reading for us today. First, I want to say, though, that I'm from Chicago, and I love the blues, and Eddie Watkins Jr. is my absolute favorite of all the different musicians that we've heard, and I just really love it, and I hope you all enjoyed that. Today, the message that you will hear from practitioner Gina will be on Rise and Reemerge. So I picked a reading from Raymond Charles Barker book, The Power of Decision. And if you own the book, you can go to his text, page 157, and I'm taking bits from the section entitled The Mental Hourglass. So Barker writes, the symbol of the hourglass comes to mind. The upper section symbolizes the infinitude of consciousness with all its ideas. So you can kind of just see that empty space. And I really was taken by this when I read it the first time. The lower section symbolizes the world or cosmos of form and shape, namely material existence. Your consciousness is that filter through point where the ideas above flow down to the world below. You are a receiver of ideas for the purpose of loosening them into form. If the filter is congested, the ideas do not flow through. They await your decongestion, thus they are waiting for you to rise. And as a little aside, I had no idea years ago when I would meditate with certain groups and we'd take an hourglass and flip it. And it was kind of to time the meditation, but we were supposed to be focusing on what we were letting go. So it served another purpose. So it's such a wonderful thing. So if you're new to meditation and you just can stand 2 minutes of doing it, get an hourglass and think about how you can use it for yourself. Barker goes on, this is why your consciousness is the determining factor of your experience. It lets new ideas flow through or it rejects them because of its own congestion. The day comes when it either stops navigation or it must be dredged out to clear the channel. And he stresses no other person or authority can do it for you. He says, no wonder that Jesus said to his disciples before leaving them, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, John 14:27. He wanted their consciousness not to be congested so that heaven could be on earth, so that the invisible could be made visible. Ideas stand at the filtering point of your consciousness, waiting for your clarity in order to appear in your world. Barker lists all of the crisis points that cross our paths that make us realize, A, there is an obstruction, and B, we can clear it. As Barker notes, if we examine the areas that are good in our lives, they are inspiring us to greater goodness. And I think greater goodness truly is reemergence. And so it is. Thank you.
And so it is.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Let Barker hear what he was doing.
What a gift it is to be here with you this morning and knowing that we are in this final week of a pause for guidance. So really in that place of allowing this month is where we've been, allowing Spirit to settle in, to prepare us for the next leg of our journey. Now, mind you, this is actually, is I always say, Spirit has a sense of humor. In so many ways, Spirit has a sense of humor. Because this theme, this topic, rise and reemerge, comes at a time for us where we just had this announcement where, you know, our senior minister, Rev G, and our staff minister, Rev Ed, after 10 years are going to be on the West Coast. And while they'll be there for guidance for us, and they'll always be there in that space, and we appreciate all that's gone before, we are in this place of yet reemergence. As well as in life, everything is different than it was. We see through different eyes right now than we used to. It's been almost 2 years of dealing with COVID. And unfortunately, that really, it makes a difference in our consciousness. It's exhausting at times. It really is a lot to wonder, well, what's next and what's right now and what do I do and what is safe and be here now in the midst of change. So this topic really is right where we are in so many ways. So of course, you know, the rise is because we've been in this place of pause. You know, when we're in this place of pausing for guidance, we're looking for that higher knowing. It's paying attention. And the first way to do that is self-awareness. as we begin to bring ourselves back to this place, and I know September for a lot of people is that month of getting back into school with the kids, or if you're a teacher or whatever it is you may do, the summertime's over and we're getting back into life again in a different way. And in this time of new beginning, the weather's changing, everything's changing, we get an opportunity to reset things the way we choose it to be. And that is so important because there's something bigger in life. There's something bigger that's meant, you know, one of the classes that I'm taking is spiritual psychology, and the irony and the difference of psychology, which is of course how the mind works and how we deal with people and all that goes along with that. But the spiritual nature of that is so much deeper. It's not, just our ego. It's not just what's out in the world. In our teachings, more than anything, we talk about living from the inside out. So we need to rise after this time, taking that pause, taking that break. That is going deep within us to that centered space at the bottom of the ocean where no matter what waves there might be, I can be still and know. That space within myself, within each one, where peace resides. That inner knowing and understanding that there is something within me that no matter what comes, whatever the waves may be, there is that stillness that I come from. And that's why we take that pause, take that break to rejuvenate and come back as who we choose to be in the world. But that takes, first, more than anything, self-awareness. Being aware of who and whose we are, which is really a lot of what the workshop coming up is going to be about. But it's being in that space of, what am I thinking about? What am I giving my attention to? What do I choose to pay attention to? Am I in my little world, or am I looking at the world? And am I doing it from my ego, smaller self of how does it affect me? Or am I doing it from this place of oneness with the infinite power that is within me, that anything can happen? There is no limit. Just because, history is not precedence. We know that. The past is not what's going to happen for us unless we keep focusing on it. We get to choose in each and every now moment. And it's so important that we do. Ernest Holmes said, there is something within you that sings the song of eternity. Listen to it. So what is it that's calling to you? That bigger picture within you. As a life coach, I've worked with many people who have had the career that they wanted. They had all the stuff that they thought they wanted, and they were miserable. Especially in the United States, we are blessed to have technology and everything. I was just saying to Rev G before this, anything I need is at my fingertips on my phone. I don't even have to enter numbers. I can literally click ship from a dozen sites that I have on my phone. It's too easy. It's too distracting. So I'm looking out there when right here is where my power is. And when I get distracted from that truth, my self-awareness gets dissipated. That power of choice weakens. Who and whose I am, I don't remember as clearly as I did before. So when we talk about, I love the song, with that light and darkness, that Marianne Williams quote that was in the middle of the song. It is sometimes that light standing out, shining bright, being that voice that doesn't go with the flow, and being something different is what we're here to be. But it's not always easy. I loved this. It says, love yourself a little extra right now. You're learning, healing, growing, and discovering yourself all at once. It's about to get magical for you. Think about that. We are at any point in life when we are truly in that place of discovery, of that new beginning, we are learning, healing, growing, and discovering all at once. And the gift in that is to make sure that we're honoring ourselves in kindness with the things that we say. That self-talk can be, it can be deafening. More than anything, that self-judgment, all that stuff that plays those tapes in our head that aren't true, that take away our power, let alone what's on the outside, because somebody else can't do it, they'll tell you you can't. Only you know what you're capable. Actually, only Spirit knows. Spirit as you. Because otherwise we would never experience fear. It's that knowing within us that calls us to something greater. And it's being in that power. Now, how do we keep that power? How do we get there? How do we find that space that we can stay in alignment? We have spiritual practices here. When we do readings like the one that Darlene just did, we remember, oh yeah, I need to pay attention. When we do our treatment and know the truth, when we pray affirmatively, not asking, not beseeching, not hoping, when we pick what we know we need and we know and declare, it is mine right here, right now. The law makes it so. We know that we know. So why don't we do it all the time? That's why they're called practices. It's something that we never master. Maybe, when you see those, I love when you see the peace of those monks and they're just in this, they're so prayerful. And the beauty of that for them? That's all that they do. They practice it every day. Of course they're peaceful. They're not in traffic. They don't worry about bills. They don't have family members pushing buttons. They can't even talk to each other.
Sometimes they're silent.
They are. That's what I said. Usually they're quiet. Exactly. So in that space, it's easier. But that's not how we live. And it's not how we're meant to live. Maybe for them it is. That's their calling. That's their beauty. They're pouring peace into the world. And bless them for it. We can pour peace into the world in our own way. We can pour beauty and life and love, joyful expectation. We can pour all kinds of things, but only if we are it. Only if in this moment I am aware of who and whose I am, that I feel that power, that I live that power, that I shine my light without the fear of what someone might say about it, or the fear that I'm not enough. The would've, could've, should've, because we all have it. And that's one of the things that, as we get older, the benefit of wisdom is you hear that story from everyone. Because you feel like I should have already known this. Is there some manual out there where I could have learned this? And the truth is, as we get older, we realize no one has the manual. Nobody knows. Some just pretend better than others. And the older I get, the more I study, the less I know. And I don't even care. I do the best I can. I don't want to know. What I haven't gotten to yet, I'm not ready for. And what I've already forgotten, it wasn't meant to be there. If I could delete 80 song lyrics, I'd be all set. I'd have plenty of memory space. But unfortunately, it's stuck. So there's some things that stay, and there's some things that I have to work and practice. And the truth is, where are our practices? What does that look like? Every desire you have for the betterment in life is some echo from deep within, which forever proclaims, behold, I make all things new. Ernest Holmes, from my favorite book, this thing called You. Spirit's got this, which I make anew. Spirit's doing it. I don't have to personally do it. One of my favorite sayings is, I'm going to let God be God today. And that might sound silly to people, but I have always, not knowing it, tried to run the show. Because when you're good at it, they let you in different ways. So if there's an event, if there's something all my life, somehow I've always helped run whatever it may be. And I didn't do it in arrogance. I just was raised by someone who was the person that ran everything. So, I mean, everything from, when we were coming here for first, well, there needs to be water, there needs to be tissues, we have mask and sanitizer. I'm like, I have to have everything just in case. Because that's that part of me that's a caretaker, nurturer, and that serves in some ways. And then it doesn't in the way of, well, now I'm trying to micromanage life to put it in a box. And it doesn't look like I want it to. So I'm trying to make it new. That's not my job. The law makes it so. I am not the law. My mother thought she was, but she was not either. The truth is that we forget. We know and we forget. So we center ourselves, hopefully, every morning in that place of knowing. I look at that as those morning practices to me are literally putting spirit behind the wheel, knowing who's directing the ship, putting me in my place and letting spirit take everything else. Because I can't. People, places, things, not under my care. I have all I can do to pay attention to me. And the truth is, most of my life, I didn't, because it was easier to try to control you than my life. Because my life felt out of control. I wasn't, the would've, could've, should've's took me over, and I felt like I wasn't enough. So it was easier to help you than me because I was overwhelmed. I'm not going to tell you it's easy now for me to take care of me, but I do the next right thing. I've learned the tools to help me to do that. And that is that inward journey. That is learning how to use our tools to be in that place. It's paying attention. And it's not as difficult as it sounds, because I know it really can sound overwhelming. So I have to watch my thoughts. I have to watch what I say. I have to watch what I watch. I have to watch everything. It seems like a big thing. And all you really have to do is what I call a checkup from the neck up. How am I feeling? To me, our emotions are a rumble strip. How are you feeling? If you're sad, turn. If you're angry, turn. You're going in the wrong direction. My car has that sometimes annoying beep when if you're veering in another lane, you get that beep, 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 beep. The newer cars do that. Sometimes it does, but it's a long ride sometimes. And the truth is, sometimes it annoys me, but those are the emotions. Sometimes they annoy me. It's all there as the rumble strips of life to keep us on track. But going through life, especially in our society of bigger, better, faster, more, of doing, not being, do we pay attention if I like to do a task, or do we just do it? I was raised, whatever there is to do, you just do it. You didn't ask if you could, should, would. You just did it. If you were able, it was on your list of things to do. Even if it depleted me. Some things I can do, but they're not mine to do. Or they're not mine to do right now. So it's learning how to decipher between them and understand that. And, there's so many spiritual growth is the essence and beautiful action of life itself. This is the eminently more important and is the ultimate reward, which reflects in your abilities and activities of daily life. So what is spiritual growth? It's not being the Zen master. For some, maybe it is. I know I'm never going to get there, and I don't need to aspire to it. There's too much of the other stuff already included. I can get better, but I am not going to put myself on a mountaintop. It's not going to happen. I'm not there, and I'm not meant to be there. I'm meant to be here I'm meant to be with the people that I love. I'm meant to care for people, interact with people, help them, give a handout is a hand up when someone's not feeling where they want to be. I can do that. I don't have to be on a mountaintop to help somebody feel better. And it's inevitable that when I do that, I always help me too. It's the way it works. The best way to get out of yourself and your own stuff and become more aware is to help someone else. That is a sacred practice. And that can be a phone call, that can be a donation. That can come in so many forms. Do what you can do and give the rest to spirit. Life is full and can be overwhelming with the should, woulds, coulds. Let them go. They do not serve. Be right here now. And in this place of awareness, simply ask, what is the next right thing for me? So we've rested. We're ready to rise up. We're in this place. Well, we need to be in this place and center every day, sometimes every hour, sometimes minute by minute, being right here, taking those breaths, being in that space, allowing spirit as me. I love that. Rev Ed said, stay in your own lane. Exactly. And yes, the serenity prayer comes to mind. Grant me the serenity to do the things that I can do and the courage to do them and to know what's mine to do. There's a discernment in that. As parents, especially, maybe aunts, uncles, you want to protect these children. You want to help them to be and have and do all of it. And as little children, it's hard. But as they get older, it's harder. And it's in some ways, it is impossible to shelter adult children from their own lives. They get their choices. We had our turn. And now we have to let them have their turn. We don't have to like it, but we have to let them. Or you can be overbearing and do whatever you need to do, and it ends up causing resentment and anger. So we have choices that we can make. My job is to show up as love. How do I do that? Sometimes the best way I can do that is to not call. Because if I call, I'm going to say something that's not mine to say today. So the best way to get me to shut up is not make the phone call at times. And that might sound harsh, but it's true. What's mine to do? In those moments, I pray. Because spirit can do a lot more than I can about whatever the circumstance is. So no matter who it is, you cannot remove grief from someone. Doesn't matter how long you're with them. You can distract them, but you're not going to remove it from them. You can love them. You can honor it, but you're never going to fix it. And sometimes it means hurting with someone. And that's okay. It's okay to not be happy for a moment or an hour or a day. But those are the rumble strips that say, okay, now I get to do something different. Honor yourself and move forward. Rise up out of it. And those spiritual tools are how we do that. Now, I'm not saying it's always easy, because no one said that it was supposed to be. But self-care is never a selfish act. It is simply good stewardship of the only gift I have to give. The gift I was put on the earth to offer to others. So what do I have to offer if I'm not taking care of me? If my cup is empty, what I'm sharing with you isn't very much. I'm testy. I can be a little pissy at times. I can be reactive. I'm not giving the best of me to anyone. Just because I'm there doesn't mean that I'm present. So self-care is nurturing. There's the entire allness of the universe. Divine life is within you. What are you doing with it? Are you nurturing that? We are the caretakers of our bodies, of our souls. That light is there. If you're not radiating it, that's your job first, above anything else, because what you have to offer is minimized if you don't have that alignment to be able to shine it. Self-care is a divine responsibility. Give yourself that opportunity to care for you. It is caring for divine as you. We only get one life. And it's not about regrets. It's about now what? When I make choices that I wouldn't choose again, I have to say, now what? Regret only keeps me in a negative space, attracting more that I don't want. So what am I focusing on? Am I focusing on where I was that didn't serve? Or am I focusing on what I choose now? What I know the truth is, one of my mantras is, God in me, as me, is me. Spirit in me, as me, is me. Am I remembering that? Because when I remember that, I am sacred. I am holy. Each one is holy. And when we are in this place of feeling fear, anger, resentment, we don't feel holy, that's for sure. So it's about getting that rejuvenation that we talked about all month long. Being in that place of pausing and asking for guidance, and then standing back up and walking into today, right here, right now, doing the next right thing that I am guided divinely to do. Not because everybody wants it of me, because everybody will take your time if you're giving it away. But what is the highest and best thing for me? Sometimes, I look at my life before I really was in these studies, before I became a practitioner versus after. The earlier part of my life was constantly racing and running and always in a million directions. And did I do things? In some ways, yes. But life felt like it was going in circles. I didn't get anywhere except exhausted. Never took care of myself and ended up sick as a result of it. It took cancer and a dozen tumors in my kidneys to stop and say, this is not the life I'm meant to live. And miracles fell into place, and they have healthy kidneys right now. Both of them, God bless, they literally were talking about taking both. And I have normal kidney functions today. Right doctors, right places, miracle after miracle showed up. And I am here in a different body and a different mind. So it's not about being someone else. The best thing that I can do for me and anyone else is take care of me. Because from that place of self-care, then I get that self-awareness. I get the opportunity to realign and be in that place of power. Brene Brown said, the courage is contagious. Rising strong changes not just you, but all the people around you. And I love her work in general, but it's so important. Saying yes to life and being excited about it is contagious. What are we going to create today? One of the lines in the song says, what are we going to create today? The universe is ready to play. Are you ready to play? Are you looking at life like this is the game of life and I am playing it? And I know Spirit's on my side, so I'm going to win. It's going to be a good day. Or is it that fear of not enough? There's never enough time. Do we tell ourselves that? I don't have enough money. I don't look good enough. The insecurities only rob us of that power. We can't play when we're not showing up. See, to me, putting on the uniform is a smile, is a good night's sleep, is taking care of myself so that when I show up, I'm ready to play. And if I'm not in that right space, I can't do that. It doesn't work that way. So we're going to talk a lot about that today in the workshop that's immediately following our fellowship. It's honoring my sacred self, who and whose I am, recognizing the sacred in your eyes, honoring your mind, body, and soul, and answering that soul's call. Are you paying attention? Are you honoring that sacred within you? You know, as we go into this spiritual discernment of knowing on this journey, what is mine? What is my path? What does Spirit choose for me today? When I stay in that, I'm moving in a different direction. It gives me an opportunity to not just move forward, but not feel like I'm moving in circles. It's changed everything for me. It's not just about what do I want. Because when I vision and I look at my life and I ask Spirit, you know, what would you have me be? It's amazing what comes up. It's so humbling. I certainly never saw myself in any kind of ministry. I certainly never saw myself right here coming back to Boston where I grew up. Never, you know, the Spirit does have a sense of humor. And it's humbling as I'm driving here this morning. It's humbling to be here speaking with you and leading a workshop. And it's a gift and it's an honor. And I only know that I am worthy because Spirit as me is doing this. That's the prayer before I get in front of anyone or in any client session. You know, whatever is meant to come out, please allow me to be that channel. And I'm just the faucet. Spirit's the water. And when I allow that to flow, miracles happen. So Rise Up is using Spirit's energy. It's suiting up with our attitude because we've done our spiritual practices, because we have our studies, because we've done the work, which is fun along the way. It's not like there's anything but uplifting in this, but it's making the time for what's most important so that I feel good, that I'm joyous and free, and I allow the law to do the work. That's what it's there for. When I micromanage life, it doesn't happen. And when I let go and let Spirit, amazing things flow. So my theme this week has been, in my treatments every morning this week, has been keep your hands in the ride and go with the flow. You know, when you're in an amusement park, they always tell you, keep your hands in the ride, because otherwise you're going to get hurt. So I get slowed down, hurt and distracted. Keep your hands in the ride. And that's where I have been this week, really knowing, stay in the boat. Just stay in the boat. God's got the rest. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. Something inside you that is so much bigger than anything else. So enjoy what's left of this week, or you get another week till Labor Day weekend. Enjoy that concept of, and prepare yourself to rise. What is your new routine going to be? How are you going to best serve you so that you show up shining your light to the world? Who are you not to? Who are you not to shine? The children in your life need that. The people, your friends, your family, they need your light, not your worry, not your fear, not your regret. They need your light. So suit up. Be in that place of allowing the most amazing things to unfold. Wayne Dyer said, in every moment of your life, you have the option to choose peace for yourself. In every moment, you get the choice. Because when I am at peace, it doesn't mean there's nothing going on the outside of me. When I walk in with my armor on, that is spirit. When I walk in with my spiritual uniform, which is my light, light shines through your eyes. When we're connected, when we're at peace, there is a presence about someone I know, because I didn't have it for most of my life. It was like static electricity. Walk into a room and there was chaos. And it was, I remember my sister, rest her soul, it's been 14 years, and she'd walk in, and I'd give anything for that chaos now, but she's transitioned, and this September 2nd be 14 years. But she'd walk in a room and it was like a tornado hit. The energy just shifted. She was always running late. There was always stuff to be done. And it was, although she was boisterous and she was wonderful, life was chaos. And you could feel that chaos. I often showed up with that feeling of chaos because it was what I was raised with. That's all I knew. I thought you had to be in a hurry and get more done, or life didn't need anything. What I did for you gave me worth, so I had to do more. That's how I lived. And that's not how I live today. I make the choice of peace. I listen to music in the car on the way to whatever it is I'm going so that I can keep myself in that mindset. I have books on tape. I have all kinds of recordings. I have treatments that I've recorded myself to keep myself in alignment. I have affirmations, a list of 30 of them. So when I am not feeling my best, I can play them on my phone. What do you need to do for yourself to prepare yourself when you're not in that place, to get back in that place? Have a plan. When you're rising up, have a plan with you of how to realign and a team of people that will help you to do it. Well, we're right here. Reach out to us anytime. You know how to find us. It's right on our page on Facebook for those of you watching or listening at home. We're here. Ask us to pray with you, for you. Whatever it is you need to do, read a passage, do a treatment, whatever you need to do, know that you have tools. And know that you can do anything. So put that smile on your face and live in that space of knowing that as you reemerge into the world, you truly can do anything. You are divine. Divine light lives and breathes as you. You are the hands, the heart, the voice of divine. The world needs you. Take care of you. You're as precious as the stars in the sky. You are as precious as anything on this planet and beyond. So it's up to us to act like it. So grateful. And with that, going into that place of stillness, I'm going to go into our affirmative prayer, knowing that we remember who and whose we are. So being right here and right now, just centered in that presence, taking a breath, and knowing that spirit is both the breath and the breather. Knowing that all power that is and ever was is right here, right now, in this oneness, ever available. So I take a breath, anchoring this truth of allness, of beauty and harmony and peace, of infinite power and possibility, infinite supply, that allness that is right here, right now. I know that I am that. I am that love and peace. I am that joy. And as I know it of me, I know it of each one. Each one is the light. Each one is spirit. Each one is peace and harmony. Abundance is the true nature and birthright. Love, joyous living, ease and grace. And right here and right now, I know and claim that truth for each one. Each one in this beautiful room, each one in this CSL Greater Boston that is rising and reemerging in new and amazing ways. And each one watching at home, each one in the all. I claim that good, that knowing, that peace and serenity. I claim that joyous life right here and right now, knowing in that one mind it is already done. So I keep my hands in the ride. I hand it over to the law and let it be the doer. I let it be easy. I celebrate it and I set it free. In joyful anticipation and filled with gratitude, I say amen and blessed be. And together we say, and so it is.
Wow. That was a beautiful prayer. Thank you so much for that, Gina. And now is the time when we talk about giving where we are spiritually fed. And I'm telling you, I was spiritually fed from that message this morning. I don't know about you. That was powerful, powerful. So as we talk about that, let's prepare ourselves by saying our affirmation of abundance and prosperity together. I'll make it big for everyone at home and here. Sharing our gifts. It is the nature of life to give of itself, as it is the tree's nature to bear fruit and the flower's nature to bloom. It is my nature to share the gifts of my time, talent, and treasure. I participate in the divine flow of life, giving generously and receiving abundantly. I am blessed and I am a blessing. I am grateful. I just love that. And for those of you at home who want to know how you can help our community or be a part of this circulation practice, you can text GIVE and the amount to 833-581-0669, or you can go to paypal.me/CSL Greater Boston. Or in PayPal, you can use our email, or you can go right to cslboston.org and click that magic donate button, and that will also allow you to give to us through PayPal. Remember, your generous gifts are vital to this community. Trying to get up. So our weekly visioning continues as we continue this re-emerging process. And you can join us on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for our weekly visioning. And this is a wonderful activity that allows for this reemergence to unfold into Spirit's higher vision. You'll see the meeting ID is 851-9312-6328, and the passcode is VISION with a capital V. And of course, we have this wonderful and exciting activity taking place afterwards. Practitioner Gina, is going to provide us with honoring our sacred selves, this wonderful workshop. And for those of you who want to join from home, you can come into and join us in our fellowship. And we will be putting that Zoom code up on the screen very shortly. And just know that this is how we are going to expand in consciousness together. So there is our Zoom connection for our fellowship, which is where we will also be doing this wonderful workshop after we fellowship for a while. And that meeting ID is 990-6825-1729 with the passcode of 014254. If you're at home, you can screenshot this so you have all the information you need to join us in Zoom. So I want to thank Gina this morning for her wonderful message. And I just am so joy-filled in knowing that everything is unfolding in perfect order. So we just wish everyone a beautiful and blessed day, and we say namaste.